Hello, I'm Taylor, and these are my thoughts on the movie Dorian Gray, which is a movie based on the book Picture of Dorian Gray, written by Oscar Wilde in 1890. And it's a fantastic book. You've obviously heard of it. You probably haven't read it because you're all a bunch of uncultured swines, but it's a great book, and it's a great movie, to put it frankly. I give it a thumbs up. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I initially went into it with hesitation and resistance, and I knew I was going to have resistance just because when you make a movie based on a classic book, it's going to be a compromise, always, because whereas the book sort of just carries you, it sort of just, it doesn't have to prove itself. It knows it's good, and it just sort of carries you along. Whereas the movie instantly has to prove itself to be good because it's being judged against a classic book. And when you make a movie, it costs so much money, and you need investors and all those things, and you have to make it accessible to a wide audience because you have to recoup your losses. Whereas with a book, you just have a pencil and you just fucking sit there and write, you know? But, let's see. My initial thoughts, as I was watching it, to the character of Lord Henry, who is the antagonist of the story, really. He's the one that corrupts Dorian and sort of creates a monster. He turns Dorian into a monster with his like bizarre sort of views. And the character in the book is very intellectual and sophisticated and subtle and charming and sort of is likable. Whereas the character in the movie is sort of more modernized and is just relies on sort of just blunt force and just aggression to get his point across, and he's not likable. You don't like him. Like, so that was my initial problem. As the movie progressed, it worked in the context of the film. You know, to the character of Dorian was great. I thought it was great casting. Ben Barnes, I mean, he's gorgeous in the film, and he plays the part really well. The part of Basil, it's not good. The actor sucks. There's just scenes there where it's just so unbelievable and, whatever. But like I said, it's compromise, and it's not that bad. It doesn't ruin the film. Basically what the movie is it's the antithesis of the book. Like I said before, the book sort of doesn't have to prove itself. It's just kind of like, it's just so well done, and there's an innocence in the book, and there's so many things left unsaid, and it just leaves everything to your imagination of like, what did he do? Like, it's sort of like puts you in the place of him and lets you, give your own sins to the character. Whereas the movie, it doesn't have any of the mystery or the intellectualism or anything. It just shows you what Dorian did, and it, in a sense, as a counterpart to the book, it works well because it adds a depth to the book. It shows him having sex with lots of women, which is always cool in a movie when there's boobs and stuff. And he does drugs. He gets beat up. He kills people, and he has blood on his hands, and he does a lot of weird shit. There's scenes where he's like, I guess, on heroin, and he's getting punched in the face, and he's enjoying it, which is cool. That's, I suppose, what people want to do. I guess. I guess that's when you search for pleasure and you have a lot of pleasure. I guess pain becomes pleasurable. I guess when you have sex with that many hot chicks and do that many drugs and you have that many sensations, there's nothing else to look for but pain, really, and then you enjoy it. The things about the movie that I really didn't like, which is the thing about all movies I don't like, was the ending. They had, movies always have to end with this big dramatic fucking thing. When they have Henry is fighting with Dorian, and he has like a knife to his throat, and he like finds out that Dorian killed Basil, and then the picture gets set on fire, and it's this big dramatic thing, which is always how movies are. Whereas in the book, the ending is just completely subtle. The last lines is, it wasn't until they saw the rings on his fingers that they knew who it was, and that's it. So the book, it's like, the beauty of it is the subtlety. Like, It's just because things in life don't happen like that. You know, things in life happen, just they happen and they're done. It's never like that. But that's the problem with movies, is like I said before, it has to be accessible, and you know, to people that haven't read the book or to kids or whatever, it works. You know, and the other thing that doesn't make sense is that the picture burns, but then Lord Henry has a fucking copy of it in his basement, even though it burned. It doesn't make sense. So the ending was stupid. The beginning is kind of stupid, but the scenes of Dorian being corrupted are just, they give you that feeling of that nervousness of like sinning, you know, like the very first scene where Henry takes Dorian to the opium house or whatever, and Dorian's so innocent. He's like, I would never do that. He's like, you know, he's all nervous. There's this chick next to him, and then he smokes the opium, and it just gives you that sense of like adrenaline, and you know, and then it shows Henry all freaked out, and then he goes upstairs and bangs this like weird Asian girl. You know, those are the things about the movie that just make it worthwhile to watch. Also, it looks fantastic. It looks great. The cinematography is brilliant. And the soundtrack is good too. So yeah, that's the way that I feel about it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. You can download it for free because it's the 21st century. We don't pay for anything anymore, so you don't even have to pay for it. Just watch it. And if you haven't read the book, then read it. And yeah, that's it, Taylor. So leave your comments, what you think about it, and fuck you. I'm just kidding. All right, bye.